Ronald Weasley, it's wonderful to see you here at the Harry Potter 20-year reunion. I'm so glad to have you. Where's everyone else?
Well, Ronald's behind me. I'm Hermione. It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
Hi, I'm J.K. Rowling. It's great to be here.
JK, what?
Rowling, it's great to be here.
You ever heard of this bloke before?
Isn't she the one that hates trans people?
Oh, that's right, Harry. She is the one who hates trans people.
I quite literally created your characters.
You're going to get us expelled. Or worse.
You wouldn't be
Killed.
able to be expelled if I wasn't here.
She's got a one-way ticket to Azkaban prison is where she's going.
Are you a werewolf? I don't know enough Harry Potter.
Oh my gosh. And scene. Ladies and gentlemen, it's our Harry Potter opening for Will and Amala Live. Thank you guys so much for joining us and watching. Today we got a lot of stories that we're going to get into. We're going to talk about J.K. Rowling and her being exiled from the 20th anniversary celebration of Harry Potter. We're going to talk about a racist rant that Joy Reid put out on her TikTok, as well as some angry leftists threatening a woman who is protesting their protest in Kenosha. I know there's so many protests on top of protests. There's an inception of protest happening in America right now that we get kind of confused. But also OSHA dropping their vaccine mandate. So stick around while we get into all of these stories. But we decided to start today off talking about J.K. Rowling because she has been X'd out of the Harry Potter 20th anniversary special because of her tweets regarding trans people. Now, if you remember, J.K. Rowling has been on, she's been in the hot seat for a while when it comes to being canceled on the internet and by the court of public opinion, because she put out tweets talking about transgenderism and said, you know what? There are biological boys and there are biological girls. She affirmed that there are two genders. Apparently, this is something you are not allowed to say. How dare you? And because of this, she's gotten several threats on the internet. People bashed her for days. There was article after article after article. And now on this 20th anniversary, she's unable to attend the 20th anniversary of her own creation.
No, it's crazy. But, that's the movies, which is different than the book creation. Which
Sure.
I will have to distinguish there. And it's not like the movies were good anyway. I don't know why you'd want to be affiliated with those
Whoa,
anyway.
Taylor loves the movies.
Compared to so
The
many other
movies
movies.
are really, really good. I haven't even read all the books, but the movies are awesome.
No, the movies are not very good. But the books are not very good either. So I don't know why everyone's getting in a fuss about this anyway.
Getting the knickers in a twist,
Getting in a tizzy.
as they say.
I don't know what they say. Butter beer and a twist. That's all I can think of. No, but I mean, this is cancel culture at its finest. I mean, that is exactly what it is. I wrote about cancel culture and I wrote about J.K. Rowling. Actually, I used her as an example of cancel culture in my book, where the left says, we take no prisoners. And if you don't agree with us on 100%, you could agree with 99.99% of stuff. Some of the stuff that comes out of J.K. Rowling's mouth is stuff that is just like, I don't agree with any of this at all. Okay? I don't know what she's saying. She's saying weird gender stuff and putting all this social justice stuff in her books and talking about it all the time. And it's like, I don't agree with her at all. But she says one thing that is different than the left and immediately gets canceled. So
Right.
This is exactly how it goes. You have to agree with every single thing.
The left loves to eat their own. I will get into her original comments that sort of got her in trouble here. She wrote, if sex isn't real, there's no same-sex attraction. If sex isn't real, the lived reality of women is globally erased. I know and love trans people, but erasing the concept of sex removes the ability of many to meaningfully discuss their lives. It isn't hate to speak the truth. This is what got her in trouble. This is apparently transphobic. It's transphobic to say I know and love trans people.
If only the people in charge of these big Hollywood industries knew what the truth was, then J.K. Rowling would be heralded as someone in this instance for saying something that is true. But she is seen as a disgusting transphobe now, and that is all. And that's another thing to notice about cancel culture. And these whole situations in general is that, you can have a life full of doing amazing and wonderful things. Like, think about someone like Tim Ballard with OUR and like what he's doing with Operation Underground Railroad, like saving children being trafficked and all the amazing, crazy things that he is doing. But because that he wants to work with someone like PragerU and do stuff with us and have conservative values, like, he's not getting that type of recognition that other people would get, right? So you can do amazing things and do crazy good for the world and society as a whole. But you go against their standards in even just one little way, and all of that is washed away. All of the good things that you have ever done are washed away by this evil that you have now committed.
Yeah, and it's interesting in this specific case just to see somebody who does identify with leftist politics. For the most part, we know J.K. Rowling to be very pro-LGBTQ, very pro-woman, anti-patriarchy, all that pro-black, anything you can think of. J.K. Rowling sits on that side for the most part when it comes to leftism, but make one distinction, one deviation from what they believe, and you are done. And to have that happen in the case of a movie franchise that you created with your own works, it would not exist without her, yet she is not allowed to attend the 20th anniversary of something that she created. It came from her brain. It just blows my mind. And is this not taking away a woman's achievement? Are you now refusing to celebrate the woman who created this franchise, created this set of books? Because now she's no longer the victim anymore. If this was 5 years ago, J.K. Rowling would be the victim here. We'd be crying patriarchy about this. But no, because we've moved on to our new victim, which is the transgender community, this gets to happen to her.
I'm going to put it out there. I'm just going to say it. HBO hates women. Okay?
Put it on the record right now.
Put it on the record. If they didn't hate women, then they would invite J.K. Rowling.
Exactly. Exactly. They would celebrate her breaking the glass ceiling of literature.
Right.
How's that?
Literature.
But alas, they won't do that.
No, they won't. They care more about their own agenda and their ideology than they care at all about pushing for people who actually did good things for the world. That's what I hate, is that good is seen as evil and evil is seen as good. That is the upside down world that we live in right now, because it's no longer about preserving good. It is about preserving your own virtue and imposed morality on other people.
Yep, it's exactly right. And there's a voice that's pretty loud when it comes to this sort of virtue signaling and going along with the leftist ideology. And her name is Joy Reid. You know her, you dislike her, you see her show, it goes viral all the time because she says the most ridiculous stuff on earth. She decided to weigh in on the Kyle Rittenhouse case and make a comparison to another case that we saw go live in front of the court of public opinion, and that is the case of Brett Kavanaugh. Here's the video from Joy Reid's TikTok.
So it's Kyle Rittenhouse trial. It reminded a lot of people of something, I just can't remember what it was. Oh, the Brett Kavanaugh hearings, in which Brett Kavanaugh, who had been accused by a high school friend of committing sexual abuse of her, cried his way through the hearings to make him a permanent member and Associate Justice of the United States Supreme Court. And his tears turned out to be more powerful than the tears of Christine Blasey Ford, which were the tears of an alleged victim. But in America, there's a thing about both white vigilantism and white tears, particularly male white tears. Really white tears in general, because that's what Karens are, right? They Karen out, and then as soon as they get caught, it's like, Green Waterworks. White men can get away with that too. And it has the same effect. Even as the right tries to politicize the idea that masculinity is being robbed from American men by multiculturalism and wokeism, they still want to be able to have their tears. So my friend Jahan Jones, who writes...
She goes on to say her friend wrote an article about it, whatever.
My goodness.
It's amazing.
That was pretty terrible.
It's the confidence for me.
It's the confidence for me.
That was like every single thing. I mean, she's literally playing the game where it's like, how many leftist words can I fit into a sentence before, like, and every time you do it, you have to take a shot. Like, that's what it seemed like she was trying to do. Fit in every single leftist thing. The thing, no one cared about Brett Kavanaugh crying, okay? That's not why people sided with him. They sided with him because what he was saying was the truth, okay? Yep. Christine Blasey Ford, her story fell apart. It turned out to be pretty much fabricated from what people could gather from it. Mm-hmm. It was not legit. And when you asked people about it to support her story, when I went to a march actually in Los Angeles, it was an anti-Brett Kavanaugh march. And I went and asked people about it. And they said, you know, I can't really tell you what's the truth is, but we just need to believe all women. And I was like, what? It's like, No, it's like, no, you need to believe the truth. The truth, if it's a woman or if it's a man, it doesn't matter. You believe the truth. You don't want to just sacrifice some guy like Brett Kavanaugh just because of your own agenda about believing all women. That's a stupid thing to do. A very stupid thing to do.
Yeah, the tears have very little to do with how people feel about these situations, which is so interesting. The left clings onto emotion as much as they possibly can. Are those tears powerful and I'm sure effective? Absolutely, because both of these men went through a traumatic experience. I would argue Kyle's a little bit more so than Brett's, but went through very traumatic experiences and were put in a position that is extremely stressful in front of not only a room full of people, but in front of America. You crying in that moment has nothing to do with using a race card or even invalidating your masculinity. Those are two separate things. And to think that crying is what really influenced our opinions on this rather than the facts of the matter, that Brett Kavanaugh was most likely wrongfully accused and that Kyle Rittenhouse was acting in self-defense, that's what truly matters to us. The tears on that just show how horrendous these situations are.
Yeah, the fact that she framed this whole argument too as tears versus tears instead of truth versus lies, or the truth versus falsehood, or justice versus mob rule, or I don't know, the standard of evidence and a presumption of innocence versus kangaroo court. That is what is really at play here. And the fact that she just skips right past facts and logic and evidence and justice and goes right into it was racist. It was literally just skipped right into this neo-racism that is her entire worldview.
Yeah,
How do people get away with such blatant racism all the time? I don't get it. I seriously don't get it.
That's the new narrative.
How is that fair?
Because they're the victim. They're the victim at all costs. And why don't we make a separate TikTok and go, Joy Reid, all you do is cry racism. And that works for everything. It works for everything that black people do. They go and cry racism and it works. Black tears are the most effective thing in America. How about we make that TikTok and see how that is received by the general public while she gets cheered on for talking about white male tears and white Karen tears, which again, what did I say? Karen's there. It's an effort. The word Karen is an effort to alienate white women. Anyways, and she just made the point herself. One of the biggest black talk show hosts in a very long time just made that point. It is an effort to do that. And if we did the same on our side, you would be crying racism till the cows come home.
If I said black female tears in reaction to this video, I would be fired. I would for sure be fired. There's no doubt about it.
Yep.
I can't say that. I literally can't say that. Everyone would hate me. I could never get a job again. That is how bad it is. To think that you are oppressed, to think that the truth is on your side when you can say that white people cry and that's why society sucks. And that if I were to say the opposite about you and say black people cry and that's why society sucks, like, I could never work again. Like, seriously, I'd have to change my name and go and like shave my head and go get a job up in Montana, like in an oil field or something. Like, everything would be changed.
Yeah, and
it's horrible hypocrisy.
I made a video about this today, and people are watching it because it's not being well received by the political left at all. The case of Kyle Rittenhouse. Why is this racialized by Black Lives Matter and by Antifa and by these black talk show hosts? Why? Why is this racialized? A young white male who shot and killed two other white males, who's being tried in a court by a white judge with white lawyers on both the defense and the prosecution, and this is suddenly an anti-black movement. Can somebody explain that to me? Why? Because the riots in Kenosha were regarding race and the incident just so happened to happen there. It has to do with being black in America. There's an article put out, a Democrat of a black caucus in Oregon is saying when the Kyle Rittenhouse trial verdict comes in, whether it's guilty or not guilty, black employees should get a day or two off. What are you talking about? What relationship does this have to any sort of black movement in America?
I know. I feel like with all the white people involved, I should get a day off.
Literally.
That would probably be more fair.
Right. Because everybody's making this about whiteness and white supremacy. White people should get a day off. There's a lot of emotional turmoil surrounding this case.
I'll be taking my day off tomorrow once he gets acquitted. I'm excited for it. Going out. I might even cross state lines to go on vacation.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm very interested to see what happens in this case. The jury is still deliberating on the verdict here, but yeah, Joy Reid seems to have already made up her mind. The View did a segment on Kyle Rittenhouse. They've all made up their minds on him as well.
Their mind is already made up before the trial even started.
Right.
As soon as that first video came out, their mind is made up because these people will never admit when they are wrong.
No.
I think that a lot of these things happen. I think for the most part, good people can admit when they're wrong and say, that maybe I thought he was guilty and now he's innocent, or, maybe the opposite. I thought he was innocent before and then a different trial and they say, oh, now I think he's actually guilty after looking at the evidence. People can make rational decisions like that, but not when you're part of a religion, not when it's a religion, not when your entire career and life depend on you sticking with this narrative. You can't go against it now. I wonder how many of these people actually believe that someone like Kyle Rittenhouse is innocent, but they're too scared to actually go and say that they think that.
I think there's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, even Anna Kasparian came out, and the Bill, whatever, the billionaire guy who's a leftist, came out and supported it. And like his people were like, "Did someone hack your account?" Because most people are so brainwashed that they didn't, or just ignorant that they don't even look at the facts of the case. But yeah, reasonable people are coming out and saying like, "Guys, I watched the video, and like it's pretty clear that this was self-defense."
Mm-hmm. I know, but they don't look at truth. I put out tweets sometimes, and people come at me. Like I put out a tweet about income inequality like 2 weeks ago and said, Republicans in Congress don't care about income inequality, which they don't because it means nothing to them. And I had so many people in my replies who follow me saying like, you sound like a leftist. I'm like, no, I'm just saying what the truth is. This is what the truth is. Okay. I'm going to say the truth. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. It doesn't really matter. Yep. Like that is what being a concerned American citizen is supposed to be about. It's not about party. It's about truth.
Yeah. The truth does not always toe the line of your ideology. So once you've subscripted yourself to that, you've already done yourself a disservice. You should only be saying what is true. And if truth doesn't support your conservatism or your republicanism or your leftism, doesn't matter.
I know.
Just say it.
I know. And sometimes I understand people will say that I disagree too much. Mm-hmm. I understand that. People will say that.
Accurate.
Yeah.
Accurate.
But I am always trying to find what the best answer is. Maybe sometimes I go overboard. But I am always trying to find, not just to be a contrarian, but to find what the truth is. I want to know. I am willing to upset and ruffle feathers and be a devil's advocate and contrarian to make sure that I fully understand something that is going on before I just agree with it because other people told me I should agree with it. I will not be someone's ideological slave in any respect. I will do my research. I will argue with people. I will have calm discussions. I will do everything to make sure that I know exactly what I'm talking about and believe what I'm talking about. I don't say anything on this show or anything anywhere that I don't really believe. I am saying things here to you guys about all this stuff, about things that I actually believe by talking to people and having contentious talks.
Yeah. There you go. It's a good little PSA.
You're welcome.
Now, speaking of always playing the victim, here's a video that Andy No broke on his Twitter of this woman being ganged up on by a bunch of leftist protesters. Let's give it a watch, and her sign says something very interesting on it. Let's see.
Black lives matter! 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 We don't need white supremacists here! 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 We don't need white supremacists here!
I have a feeling her white tears would not be very effective in this scenario. I wish I could get Joy Reid's commentary on that.
I would love to hear that.
Yeah.
I can tell you from personal experience, there is nothing in this entire world that is more aggravating than being somewhere and having a group of people yell at you and not listen to anything you're trying to say. There truly is nothing that makes me more upset than that happening. And not upset like I'm going to cry. I'm like upset like you are making me so angry right now by not listening to what I'm saying. So that lady held it together, which is good.
Funny enough,
very hard.
Her sign says BLM and Antifa are here to intimidate. And there they are surrounding her, a group of 20 people screaming in her face with their little bullhorns and hitting their drum and right in front of her face.
We're not here to intimidate, but if you don't leave, we're going to kill you.
Right. But you're a white supremacist and you don't belong here.
Right. No, it makes absolutely no sense.
The hypocrisy is just so crazy to me. It's so crazy. How do you those people go out and do this and they go home and they go, oh my God, that was what a brilliant day of being a revolutionary. Mm-hmm. I did so much good today. Mm-hmm. Yelling at this woman.
About it.
Yeah, I'm going to go tweet about it. gosh.
Post on my Instagram in my mask and with all my homies protesting and let everyone know that it was a successful day.
A very, very successful day. And they have no idea what they're even fighting for. They have no idea what they're advocating for. I would love to go outside, and that was outside of the courthouse in Kenosha, by the way, for some more context. I would love to go outside and be like, in what way does Kyle Rittenhouse exemplify white supremacy?
It would be interesting to ask them.
You just sit there.
It would be interesting to ask them and say, after they were done protesting, and say, what did you accomplish today?
Mm-hmm.
And ask them. Because I think that comes down to a lot of the argument on why they do what they do. I think this goes with a lot of leftist stuff when you're talking to people who do evil things or who do misguided things, whatever it is, and you ask them what they actually accomplished while doing that, if it made them a happier person or if it made the world a better place or even if they just did anything. I think that's a good mind-changing trick for people, is asking them, what did you accomplish? You know, I'll ask people that at some of the rallies and stuff. I'll say, what did you accomplish? Or what has been accomplished because of you being here? Is you being angry about this? Has this made you a happier person? Has this made your life better?
I'd be like, I was speaking my truth.
Right.
And that's what I accomplished today.
Well, speaking your truth doesn't make anyone really happy. Speaking the truth makes people happy. Or it can make you sad too. But that's the point of that isn't really being happy. But, you know what I mean?
Yep. I know what you mean.
You know what I mean.
They don't accomplish much. They'll be like, well, we organized. We found our allies today. I can already think of all the different things that I would say as a leftist who was doing this 4 years ago.
Yeah. Well, they're not good responses. And even if they lie to you, it doesn't mean that they, in their heart of heart, think that they're actually telling the truth to you. They know they're being fibbers.
I hope so. There are some people that I see and I look at them and I go, wow, you genuinely believe the things that you're saying right now. You generally believe the lunacy that is coming out of your mouth.
There are definitely those people.
Yeah. I'm going to show you one of those people really quick. Segue into the next story. Here's a clip from The View. We are constantly talking about The View on this show now. I don't know why in the past few weeks, I want to say the past 3 weeks, The View, every single episode they do has a trending clip from that. Yesterday we went over Jedediah Bila and her getting essentially censored and kicked off the show over Zoom because she said she was anti-vaccine mandate. Here is another clip from The View in regard to CRT, a very short one here.
And one thing before we get into this next clip, guys, I just want to remind you that if you're watching this, we do have our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play. So let's say you have to leave and you can't watch the whole thing or whatever. You can always go and subscribe to our podcast, download it on any of these apps, give it a nice rating. So, and if you miss an episode a week ago or a couple days ago, you can go back. We have the entire catalog up on these podcast apps. So make sure that you're checking us out on there as well. It really helps us out too when you download the episodes and show your support.
Absolutely. Here's the clip from The View.
We at the Lincoln Project pointed that out in the Virginia race, that critical race theory is the new N-word for Republicans and the Southern strategy in 2021. But Democrats have to have a good company. We at the Lincoln...
critical race theory is the new N-word?
Well, it's coming from the Lincoln Project, so I think that tells you most of what you need to know.
Let's just break that down for a second. Okay, critical race theory is the new N-word for Republicans and people who lean right.
What does that mean?
I honestly don't know what that means. The N-word is something that Republicans and most people in general don't say, and it's not permitted for them to say. Critical race theory, how is that the new N-word? I don't understand what the argument is.
Maybe they're saying that rappers are saying CRT in their songs. And that's why it's the new N-word.
White people in folk music are singing about critical race theory. Right. And that is a dog whistle for their racism.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
No, but that's like the only reason I could think. The people who say the N-word are mostly black people.
Yes.
So are they saying that black people are calling each other CRT?
It's really just not an argument at all. I don't know what this woman was trying to get across by saying critical race theory is the new N-word for Republicans, but the entire crowd plus the entire panel just cheered on that statement. So what did they get from that?
I don't know. You can say that this is like, if you say something is the new N-word, like everybody claps. Everybody
again, I need to get a t-shirt. Somebody make me a t-shirt with my face on it that says it's the confidence for me, because it's the confidence for me with making a statement like that has no logic and no reasoning behind it.
If Joy Behar got up there and said Go-Gurt is the new N-word, everybody would be cheering and clapping. makes no sense.
Oh my god. Yeah, it makes absolutely no sense.
I'm trying to think about how to argue with this, but it's just like, you just said something that is complete nonsense.
I guess I'm just going to put my general consensus about critical race theory is bad and it shouldn't be taught in schools. I don't know if that's an argument to what you were saying because I have no idea what you were saying, but it's not the N-word.
Yeah.
There's also that. Critical race theory is not the N-word. I don't know.
Right. No, they should be bringing up Joy Behar in blackface, but
it's a funny clip. It is a funny clip.
It is a funny clip.
I just
because
don't
it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's funny. If it was just some random person saying it, it wouldn't be as funny. But it's funny because people clapped.
Yeah, it's funny because people clapped.
You know?
The confidence and the fact that people clapped, they responded to her confidence. They didn't respond to agreeing with her argument because she didn't make one. They just were like, yeah, she said something is the N-word and Republicans are bad, and so...
Right.
No, it's like going to it's like going on Netflix and watching one of those Amy Schumer specials, and it's not funny, but it's funny that people are clapping in the audience thinking that Amy Schumer is funny.
Yeah, exactly.
Because she is not funny at all.
It just points to the state of the world now.
Yeah.
That you can just make a general statement that has nothing to do with an argument or a substantive take, and people will simply clap because they get a general sense of your political leanings.
Right. And I will say that this also holds true for the right. This isn't just a left-wing issue. Yeah. This is people on the right who will also say incredibly blatantly obvious things that they are supposed to say that are your approved talking points on the right, and people will just like I'm not going to say any names, okay? But if you go on Instagram and you see some of these quote posters that are made for some of these people who are politicians and they're Republicans, and I read them and I'm like, I say this more eloquently on my show. But like, no, I mean like these ideas are discussed in such a better way than like these little sound bites and things, but they get like parroted and copied and everyone's tweeting the same thing.
You're like, I could get blackout drunk and make your quote posters for your Instagram.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying.
And just take like 5 shots of whiskey and write like wokeism has no place in America.
Right, exactly.
And then put it out as a tweet.
And I'm like, oh, I'm part of the GOP now. And like I can just put it out as like this quote poster that gets tons and tons of likes. I'm like, where is the panache, like the authenticity?
Conservatism is diverse.
Yeah.
Tweet it.
Leftist Democrats are the real racists.
20,000 retweets.
I know. I'm like, dude, shut up. Like, come on, man. Like, can we get better too? You know, I want everyone to be better.
It's tough. I mean, having been on PragerU's social team for a while and posting behind posting the Instagram posts and stuff, like sometimes you'll spend all this time carefully crafting an argument in a tweet or, you know, wording something eloquently, and then you tweet it and like it's no retweets. I mean, 5 minutes later you tweet like, you know, the left ruins everything, and it gets like 10 billion retweets, and everyone's like, yeah, it's like
sensationalism,
because you're trying to make people think more and engage with arguments. And so,
I know, but people don't want to think more. People don't want to just like people don't want always like a nuanced type of deal to listen to. They want something that is like simple for them, even if it makes no sense. Even if you say CRT and Go-Gurt is the new N-word, like people don't really care. They're just like, oh, this sounds like something that I should agree with, so I'm going to like it and retweet it. And I think we are all guilty of this. I'm not just trying to call out
human
people.
nature.
Sure,
it's human nature to do this. I'm guilty. Amala, Taylor, everyone is, okay? But
I'm not guilty.
Well, yeah, everyone except for Taylor. Taylor is the second coming. No, but I mean, we really are. And so, but it's something to just keep in mind ourselves, you know, as what type of strategies and information are we trying to distill to people? Is it something new that we think will help people, or is it just because we want to get views and things like that? I think our show does a good job.
Exactly. I was going to say, like, I mean, let's just clap for our show.
Let's just toot our own horn real quick.
But yeah, that's what we try to do here is like we take things that are going on in the culture that are buzzy and trendy, but then it's like instead of just giving the same 5-word reaction to it that you're going to see on all those meme pages or whatever, we try to give a more nuanced take and say, well, here are the ideas behind what you're seeing here. Here's what's actually going on, and hopefully that's getting the best of both worlds. It's getting the engagement, but it's also helping people think more. And so keep watching Will and Amala live because that's what this is all about.
Speaking of helping people think more, Will put out a new Man on the Street titled Should We Have Vaccine Mandates? I want to play just a little clip from it for you. You guys can check it out at PragerU.com. Also download the PragerU app if you want to have an app on your phone that hopefully cannot be censored and wiped away with the click of a button, although we know Apple likes to do that sometimes. But here's the video.
You can also get it on Roku and Apple TV, the PragerU app. So if you're at home and you want to download it on your TV, Put that bad boy up.
One other quick note about the PragerU app: it keeps playing the audio of the video when you close it. So like on YouTube, if you're watching this on your phone, you close YouTube or you text or something else, it stops the video. On the PragerU app, it doesn't do that. So if you want to take this show with you and you don't have podcasts or whatever that's too complicated, get the PragerU app, and that does that as well.
That's what I call
free.
It's free.
It's free. You're
Technological innovation, ladies and gentlemen. Here is the man on the street.
What's up, guys? This is Will Witt with PragerU. Today we are at the University of North Texas asking students if they agree with vaccine mandates for this state. Let's do it. So today we're talking about mandates for vaccines. We saw that in New York, LA, where I live, San Francisco, they're having vaccine requirements for going to businesses like restaurants, bars, things like that. You think that's a good idea for Texas?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, because it protects everyone, you know?
You think that would be a good idea for Texas?
I do, absolutely.
Why do you say that?
Because COVID's really dangerous and vaccines would help prevent the spread.
I mean, I don't know. I guess we should just do what the state says, do what the federal government says, no matter what. I mean, in this case.
You think that would
Yikes, guys, you can go check that out. You want to play this one?
One more part.
be a good idea for Texas?
I think so, yeah.
Why do you say that?
I love free healthcare.
Because I don't think you should be able to force someone to get the vaccine, but I believe we should have more resources to enforce it.
Yeah, we should go to those people's houses and tell them how important it is that they get vaccinated, or else, you know?
That's what I think,
Definitely. It is at all.
I told that guy, I said, we should go to people's houses and tell them to get the vaccine or else. And he was like, yeah.
He looks so like, yeah, okay.
I mean, the guy who's like, we should do whatever the state tells us to do.
That guy, I got into quite the tiff with that guy. We couldn't include everything in the video because it started getting too intense and it was crazy. But I was talking about his trust for big pharma. You know, he's like, oh, I don't trust big pharma, but then I want the vaccine mandated for everyone. I'm like, why would you say that? And it got it started getting pretty technical with some of the things I was talking about. Maybe we could release a supercut of that. But, you know, it was kind of in some ways my own personal views, maybe not necessarily all PragerU videos, PragerU views, but it was good. I owned him. So it was fun.
You owned him?
I owned the lib.
Well, we do have some good news when it comes to vaccine mandates. Here's the headline out of the Hill. OSHA suspends enforcement of the COVID-19 vaccine mandate for businesses. Whoop, whoop, whoop. This is kind of, you know.
This is a huge deal.
This is a very, very
now,
big deal.
If your employer comes up to you because you have more than 100 employees and they say, well, we have more than 100 employees, you need to get vaxxed, tell them to screw right off. Okay? You can do whatever you want. You are a free citizen.
Yeah, I'll read a little bit more here. For those of you who don't know what OSHA is, it is the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, and it is now suspending enforcement of this current administration's COVID-19 vaccine mandate for large private businesses after a federal appeals court upheld a stay on it last week. They said the court ordered that OSHA take no steps to implement or enforce the ETS, the Emergency Temporary Standard, until further court order.
It's great. It's great. I am worried about some businesses, though. And I'm also worried about people who already got the jab and they felt like they needed to because this was just like the fact of what was going to happen. And if only some people would have waited a little bit longer, then it could have been changed. I think that probably is a lot of people. I would have to assume. I don't have any exact numbers, but I would guess that a lot of people, just when they heard that this was happening, got the jab and then are now kind of regretting it because it went through the courts and now, it's fine.
Yeah, and I mean, it is a small win, too. It does stipulate in the article this is subject to change and appeal at any time. So we don't know exactly what's going to happen here. But right now, that's a win for the American people.
It definitely is a win. Tell your employers. I wonder how many employers are just not going to tell their employees that this happened because I'm not seeing mainstream media talk about this. I get headlines on my phone from CNN, New York Times, Washington Post, you know, all the breaking news headlines from pretty much every major news organization, left and right. And I didn't get any from the left today saying that this happened.
Well, I would hope that an employer would be smart enough to tell their employees. I think if you didn't and then you continued to enforce this and say the mandate is still intact, you would see some lawsuits.
Yeah, they could sue.
I'm not even saying like tell them it's enforced. Just don't tell them that it's not enforced.
Oh.
You know? People have to do their own information. This is why we're coming on the show to tell you guys this, okay? So that you know. Because I have the inkling that many employers are just not going to tell people that this is not enforced. You know? So what you should do is share this episode of the show, share it around to everyone you know, as well as sharing articles and talking about this on your social media, to your friends, family, all sorts of people. You should be going out and telling people this fantastic news so that people know that their employer no longer has that right for them, okay? It's a big deal. It's a really big deal. Tell everyone you know. Share this episode. If you're on Facebook, share this episode on Facebook. If you're on YouTube, you know, do whatever YouTube sharing does.
Yeah, do whatever YouTube sharing does. But
Tweet the link.
Tweet the link.
And again, these victories do not point to the fight being over. It is still going to be a problem. Vaccine mandates are still going to be an issue that we discuss and continue to have at the forefront of our, you know, I guess cultural discussions, our news media, our social media. This does not mean that the enforcement is off the table. It is still a battle ahead. You still have to stick to your guns. You still have to stick to your values when it comes to these things. And this is one small win in a long war. Yeah.
Won the battle. War's still going.
War is still going.
A lot more to do.
Now
we're still just trying to go to Chipotle here in California.
Don't even remind me.
We can't do anything.
I haven't had it in 2 weeks.
Yep.
But I cooked some great meals this week.
There you go.
I made chicken, biscuits, and gravy. I made this maple brown sugar chicken. I cooked the biscuits from scratch with making the dough, everything. Made sausage gravy from scratch. It was so good. It was really
good. Job,
good.
kid.
Really good.
Wow,
so,
I'm
just
proud.
letting you guys know what I made.
Yeah, just letting. Maybe we'll do some like Will Cooks updates.
It's a great update. Yeah. I think everyone is very.
Do you still do Cooking with Will on your Instagram?
No.
I don't really do it because I did Cooking with Will. When I used to do Cooking with Will, it was when I kind of sucked at cooking. And I've gotten so much better at cooking. And I don't know if people still want to watch me when I'm good at cooking.
Well,
I feel like they only want to watch me burn grilled cheeses.
You don't know unless you try.
All right, guys. We're going to do Cooking with Will again on my Instagram, so make sure you follow me. DM me what recipe I should cook this week.
There you go.
This weekend. Let me know what I should cook.
I want to watch Grilling with Amala. The way she grilled that steak that one time.
Okay, excuse you. We're not going to talk about that.
That's not grilling a steak.
We're not going to talk about it. We're not going to talk about it.
Ruining a perfectly good piece of meat.
No need to discuss it on live stream at all. We're going to move on.
I thought steak was already dead, but whatever that was, you killed it.
Yeah. You guys are so
gray.
rude. It was not gray. Anyways, guys, we've been talking for months on this show about a video that we filmed for you guys doing a ride along with the LAPD in South Central, one of the most dangerous areas in Los Angeles and in California in general. Guys, that video is finally out. You can watch Will and I and Taylor go on a police ride along with LAPD South Central, and we are going to show you a little clip of that right here, right now. Here we go.
Every ride along that I've ever taken has changed their minds.
Stop right there.
Is this what you guys do, is bring in people here to cry?
Hi everybody, it's Amala up and over here. We are here with Will Whitney. We are heading to a police station, actually.
Yeah, finally Amala got caught for murder, so we're taking her in.
Bringing her in.
Actually, what we're doing, guys, is we're going on a police ride along to give you an inside scoop of what it means to be a police officer, how they're functioning in today's current world, especially with the whole defund the police narrative that we're hearing on the left. We arrived in South Central LA in the early evening. Before going out on patrol with the officers, we got a tour of the LAPD Southeast Station, where we sat in on a roll call, spoke with the gang's unit homicide detective, and went through a police training simulator.
Everyone knows that police are really afraid to go out there and do proactive police work. I mean, you really have to think about, do I want to get involved in something that is going to put myself, my family, my career at risk, potentially cause me to go to jail? That's significant. But the other problem is, of course, the bad guys all know this. There's no rules out there.
They can get away with it.
The police are afraid. No, you're not going to get stopped, and it just kind of creates this environment of anything goes. But what the result really is the effect on the communities that we police. That's who feels it.
Politicians and the media creating a narrative that is completely false. We don't kill a lot of unarmed black people.
Right.
We don't target black people. We target gang members who happen to be black, but we do the same for all gangs. And when you don't tell the truth, people who don't know this area assume that that is the truth, and they all jump on this bandwagon. And like Eric said, really good people are getting hurt. We're losing kids, 2, 4, 7. It's not good.
And And I'll pause it there for you guys. You can go and check that out on YouTube or on PragerU.com, although we prefer you do it at PragerU.com or on the PragerU app. We go through a simulator. We go out into one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in South Central Nickerson Gardens and just talk about our different experiences there. I cry in this video, so that's great. I love that is public.
I didn't cry.
He almost did, but he didn't cry.
I almost did. I really almost did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I teared up.
First time ever. But it was close. It was really close.
It was close. So yeah, if you want to see me cry and Will almost cry and Taylor not cry, go watch our police ride along video that we put out for you guys. Now
that was truly making that video one of the most impactful videos that we've ever done.
Yes.
Seriously.
Yeah.
So I'm very proud of how it turned out. I'm very proud of the product. If you guys want to see something that is real and truthful and honest and, you know, no holding back, the rest of that video is for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I'm trying to do a better job of selling it than Amala did on this video.
What do you mean?
You did a good job.
I did a great job.
I just really want you guys to watch this video.
Yep.
Because it meant a lot to all of us doing it.
If you want to watch Will and Amala both fail a police training simulator, you should watch it as well.
I semi-failed.
That's the most important part.
Will got arrested. I got killed.
Will shot an unarmed white man.
Yes.
And Amala shot an armed black man, but was shot by another armed black man.
Right. So I ended up dying. Will ended up in prison for life. It was a really interesting.
I would have got away with it too.
If it weren't for you meddling kids.
But being a cop's really easy, and we should all, we all know, just how
exactly
how
no,
bad
it's
they are
so
at their
easy.
jobs.
Right,
If I
it's
was
so
a cop
easy.
in that situation, I would have nailed it.
Right.
Exactly.
So very easy. Nothing difficult about it. Now we're going to get into our actual easy job. And our segment for today that we're doing on the show for you guys is dun dun dun, highly recommended. We're going to recommend to you guys a bunch of different things from a bunch of different categories, as many as we feel the need to do. And yeah, we've got some different categories for you guys. And hopefully you go out and check out these recommendations, see if you like them as much as we do. First category, gentlemen, highly recommended YouTube channel.
All right, Amala, you go first.
Why do I have to go first?
Because you're a lady.
I set this up.
Ladies go first. And because you didn't tell us any of the things before we started.
What? Okay. My highly recommended YouTube channel is going to be, well, it depends if I want to do like an educational one. The one that I've been watching on a daily basis is The Rubin Report. I love Dave Rubin. He is a very good friend of mine, and he puts on an excellent show every single day. And he's just so talented and amazing, and he's helped me a lot over the past couple weeks, actually. So The Rubin Report is going to be my educational one. I think my fun channel is going to be Noel Miller. He's a really funny comedian on YouTube. I watch his videos. It's a good break from everything else that's going on in the world. He doesn't talk politics or anything like that, just funny content. So Noel Miller is my second recommendation.
I'm about to sneeze.
Okay. Taylor, do you have a YouTube recommendation?
I don't know. I'm not really a big YouTuber. When I'm on YouTube, I'm usually watching like a Jordan Peterson lecture or like a discussion roundtable on like Tim Pool or something like that.
Okay.
So I don't know, maybe Timcast.
Okay.
Check that out. They had a crazy episode yesterday with like Joe Rogan, Alex Jones,
Blair White, Michael Malice,
and the
Drew Hernandez. Yeah.
It was like wild. I mean, it was kind of chaotic, but really interesting stuff. And
all
it's
in one
long
room.
form, so yeah, that was good.
I'm going to go Binging with Babish. He's a cooking
I
show.
love Binging with Babish.
And I love his cooking videos. He's taught me a lot. So that's mine.
Binging with Babish is a good one. That is a very, very good one. He makes such good videos. Next one, highly recommended album/song. Taylor, Will?
You go,
you guys are the music people. I'm kind of whatever on this.
Okay.
All right, I'll go. I'm going to go with, for album, I'm going to go with Dire Straits, Making Movies. This is one of my favorite albums of all time. Dire Straits and Mark Knopfler are so incredibly talented. And Romeo and Juliet off of that album is one of my favorite songs ever. So I highly recommend it. It is a beautiful piece of work. It's my favorite Dire Straits album. So I definitely recommend that you check it out. If you like Sultans of Swing, you've heard that from Dire Straits, some of their more popular ones. I highly recommend Making Movies by Dire Straits.
Okay. Let's see. Album. My album, the one that I've been listening to the most recently, is an album by an artist named Faye Webster. The title of the album is I Know I'm Funny, Haha. It's a really good album, killer song. She's got such a unique style and cadence and just nuance to the way that she approaches music, sort of jazzy and ballady and poppy, just a big mix of things. A good song by her that's actually not on that album. For a song, I will recommend a song called Johnny by Faye Webster. There you go. Taylor,
great job, guys. I don't know anything about any of the people that you just mentioned.
Yeah, mine's kind of like an indie artist.
I am listening to Christmas music already.
Oh, good stuff.
All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey. I know you guys probably haven't heard of it, but
never heard of her. No, one of my favorite ever Christmas albums, probably my favorite, is a very Merry Christmas, I think it's called, by Dave Barnes, who's kind of like another indie person. I don't know, but he's pretty good. So I would suggest that.
Okay, next one. Highly recommended movie. Dun, 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 dun.
Taylor goes first this time. I just went first.
I don't want to go first. Amala, you go first. You have one prepared.
Jeez, okay. I've watched a couple movies recently, and I will recommend, I'll recommend all of them. The first one, Pride and Prejudice, featuring Keira Knightley. I love a good period film. This one was a really good drama. She had a stellar performance in it. Love the relationship between her and Darcy. Another one that is sort of holiday themed, Serendipity. Good rom-com, beautifully shot cinematically. The two characters, the main characters, have a chemistry that is just like tangible. You can feel it when you watch it, and you know like a bad rom-com from a good one, and this one's so well written, so well shot, so well acted. Great one. And the third one is Good Time, featuring Robert Pattinson, following him after a bank robbery. So more of an action, suspenseful movie. He's a fantastic actor, super talented, well shot film. That's my third recommendation.
It says movie, not movies.
Hey, I'm giving multiple because we have time.
Appreciate it. I'll give since those are the only 3 movies Amala's ever seen in her life.
No.
I will
continue to make this joke, and those are 3 movies that I've watched in the past 2 days.
You still haven't seen Harry Potter, though, so you're not allowed to talk about it.
Or any of the
Lord of the
movies.
Rings, or Batman.
I will give a foreign movie, Cinema Paradiso. I highly recommend that.
Never met her.
Never met her, but that is all I'm going to tell you about.
Are you going to tell people what it's about?
No, you have to watch it.
Well, why would they watch
Paradiso.
it if you didn't tell them anything about it?
Because it's a recommend. If you guys trust me, and you appreciate the thing that I'm recommending, then you're going to go and watch it.
Tragic.
Cinema Paradiso.
Okay. Taylor?
I'll give a trifecta here, and of things that I've watched in the last week.
Mm-hmm.
But they're awesome movies, unlike Amala's.
What?
First is Home Alone. I watched Home Alone. That's the greatest Christmas movie.
Yeah, you've never seen that one, guys.
Second is I've been rewatching the Matrix trilogy with my wife. I saw someone else in the chat said that, so that's good. She fell asleep through both of them, but I finished them, and they're just awesome movies. I said both. I mean, we've only been through 2. We haven't finished the last one. And thirdly is Rush Hour. My wife had not seen Rush Hour, and it's like top 5 comedies for me of all time. 1 and 2 are great. But Rush Hour 3, I showed Amala that scene yesterday. Remember the crazy exchange about the movie You on Netflix?
Yes.
Or about the show You on Netflix.
Yeah.
On who was that? Laura Ingraham show?
Right.
Yeah, we covered that yesterday. I got this confusing thing about they couldn't figure out the fact that the show's called You, and he thought it was calling You. And there's this whole exchange in Rush Hour 3 of this old Asian guy named You, and he's got a friend named Me. And there's like, there's all this confusion with Chris Tucker, like trying to sort that out. So anyways, They did the bit first, guys. So anyway, those are my 3.
Did the bit first. Okay. Next, highly recommended Instagram follow.
I don't really follow many people on Instagram, so I'm gonna say Prager Force, which is our student program.
Nice. Do your pitch.
And Prager Force is a great student program for young professionals and people under the age of 35, high school, college, around the world. You should join Prager Force. And if you're not going to join, at least follow Prager Force on Instagram. They put out a lot of great content. So yeah, I don't follow too many people. I hate having my feed be all jumbled up with people. I basically just follow my close friends and PragerU and some other conservative outlets, but that's about it.
Okay. My Instagram follow recommendation for all my conservative ladies out there is an Instagram called The Conservator. I actually have a dear friend who is a co-founder and works at The Conservator, but they're a publication for conservative women, goes through, fashion. They've got great memes on their page as well. It's just a really good aesthetic to their page. Love them. The Conservator is my Instagram recommendation. Taylor?
I can't remember if I did this last time, but I'm just going to say it again if I did. The meme account Middle Class Fancy is like the funniest meme account ever because it's just all these jokes about basic white dads and how they love to stand outside of Olive Garden with a to-go box and a toothpick in their mouth and talk about the weather or whatever. It's just really funny humor. So that's my...
Good stuff, good stuff. Next one, highly recommended date. Date night, date.
Medjool?
That's a horrible answer. And
that's funny.
give a good answer.
Not until you laugh.
Oh, I just laughed. There you go.
I don't know. Someone else go. Who has one in their head?
I don't have one in my head.
Really? You don't have a date in your head? Okay, I'll just give my general explanation. It doesn't have to be... I love something that requires... not like a movie or anything like that. Like, you don't want something where you're not talking to the person that you're on a date with. Museums, great one. Planetarium, great one. Just going like to the park or going like picnicking, doing like a little scenic walk or whatever. Always good for a date. I just like being able to talk to the person that I'm actually out with and have good conversation. So that would be my recommendation.
I can tell you mine, but I also don't really want to spoil it because it's something...
Spoil it for who? Are you going to date one of the people watching?
You never know. No, but it's like, I kind of, okay, I'll tell you anyway. Whatever. I'm just going to tell you guys, okay? Going to the cemetery. That is my idea of a great day.
Interesting.
I find it incredibly compelling to read the epithets of people on their gravestones and seeing like what people live for, like what they found important.
Uh-huh. Is this a first date idea?
It doesn't have to be a first date.
I would hope it's not a first date idea.
Yeah, let's go visit my dead grandma in the museum, or not in the museum, not in the museum, in the cemetery. No, but I think a cemetery date is really cool. I think it's great.
I don't know how I feel about a cemetery date. Taylor, how do you feel about a cemetery date?
It's weird.
It's not weird. It's what's weird about it. You're going
to a cemetery. That's weird.
No, it's not. You're going and seeing the beautiful things that people died for, like, and seeing all these people, like, appreciating it. And so much of it is like beautiful. It's like poetry. It's like artistic. It's amazing. I love stuff like that. So that's my idea.
If you want to do a cemetery date without being like, hey, you want to go to the cemetery, at least in California, and I know in a lot of other states too, they do like we have the Cinespia where you can go and like watch movies at the cemetery and then walk around and do that. Cemetery. Yeah, like you can ease them into that one.
I'm going to make a poll real quick. Is a cemetery date weird? Let everyone vote.
It's not weird. It's not weird.
No,
it's
I could see the beauty in a cemetery date.
Oh, you only take your girl out to the cemetery if she is high class, okay? If she can't read or she doesn't appreciate poetry and things like that, then don't take her there. Then I would understand why she would think it's weird. So all the people who vote no, you're just not sophisticated, okay? But if you vote yes, it's cool, then you're cool.
The poll is down below. Give it a vote. The next category for highly recommended is Twitter accounts. What do we got, guys?
Well, do you follow anyone on Twitter besides me?
Prager Force on Twitter is
probably my goodness.
I keep opening my phone to look at like what are the albums I have on Spotify? What are the YouTube videos?
Right, like who do I actually follow
on Twitter? Yeah.
Yeah. I would say I follow this Carl Jung quote account. It's like Carl Jung quotes. I don't know what the account is called, but I'm a big fan of Carl Jung and his psychology and everything. So that's my recommended.
Taylor?
He's a bastion of wisdom.
Yeah, Jung is based. Have we said Libs of TikTok yet?
Yes.
We said that last time.
We've recommended that before.
Obvious.
Well, I'm going to say it again. Libs of TikTok. It's the best account on Twitter.
Not
really, but it's good.
I don't know if I have like a favorite. I'll go to people like good news people, good breaking stories people. Andy No is a great one. Christopher Rufo's a great one. Bill Malugan's a great one, especially if you're interested in illegal immigration and getting the updates around that. So those are my 3 political recommendations. As far as sort of recreational Twitter follows, I don't follow anybody for anything outside of politics on Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter's my favorite for news. Like, I don't really go to news websites. I go to Twitter to see what's going on. And then I follow people whose perspectives I respect or I'm interested in and get their take on the news. Because the facts, you're going to piece it together based on what's going on in the world anyways. So I want to hear the opinions of people who I'm actually interested in.
Amazing.
That's why I don't follow either of you guys on Twitter.
Okay.
Just kidding. I follow you both.
It's fair enough.
I am Taylor. I should have said Taylor Trandall was a great one.
You really should have.
I want Taylor to get more likes on his tweets.
Our old intern, Tyler Ray. Follow him on Twitter.
Tyler's a great tweeter.
Tyler is a great tweeter.
I like all of his tweets. I just like everyone's tweets. I'm a big liker.
Will is a very generous liker.
He is.
I'm a generous liker. I don't hold back.
I'm not at all. I don't like anything on social media unless it really strikes me in a way that I feel like I need to go back and look at this. That's the only reason I will like something.
I like everything.
Yeah.
If it's a friend, I'm always going to like it because I want to show my support for them. You know? Like Taylor posts a tweet. Oh, it's been up for 6 hours. 0 likes. I'll like it.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah. I'm like,
no, I can always count on you.
Yeah. No one else. I'll be like, I'll like it. For sure.
Even if it doesn't make any sense. You don't like it. But other people do.
Well, when you're spamming my feed, Taylor, you're not the only person on there, but I try my best to find you and like your tweet.
You follow like 10 people. How is your feed cluttered?
Well, the 9 other people tweet a lot.
Oh my gosh.
And the algorithm boosts tweets that actually get likes to the top of my feed.
Go follow Taylor on Twitter. Let's boost his following on Twitter. What's your Twitter? Is it Taylor Trandall or is it T Trandall or what's it?
T Trandall.
T Trandall. Go follow Taylor on Twitter. Let's boost his following. Let's make him as big as I don't know. I guess I'm the smallest one of us, so make it as big as my Twitter on the platform. You better come out with some hot tweets. You better come out with some.
My tweets have been killing it on my Instagram.
They are spicy.
Lately. That's my life hack. Has been tweet and nobody sees it, screenshot that, put it on Instagram, and it gets like thousands of likes. Even though I don't have that many followers.
There you go, life hacks. Maybe we'll do a life hack segment someday on our show.
That's interesting.
Go through social media or just random life hacks that we do in our daily lives, guys.
I have one now.
You have one now.
A life
you
hack.
Want to share it right now? Okay, go for it.
If you get your cereal in the morning and you eat it while you are taking a shower.
Okay.
And you are saving half the time that you would take eating your cereal.
I take back what I said. We will not be doing a life hack segment.
That was in Tim Ferriss's book, right? 4 Hour Work Week.
Are you joking?
He's joking.
Yeah, that's
okay.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, click the notification bell to be notified every single day when we go live. You can listen to us on Spotify, Google Play, or Apple Podcasts. Please go and do that. We want to boost our show on those platforms, so go give us a listen. Follow us on there. Leave us a 5-star review. Thank you guys so much for watching. We are going to be back tomorrow with more stories for you at 2:30 Pacific, 5:30 Eastern, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Peace.